Hey, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. We're Will and Faith Scott. We Get to the Root Health and Wellness. We want to welcome you to another evening, another episode of Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. And this is where we come and we talk about how our choices actually helps create habits, and then our habits develops and creates our lifestyle. So thank you so much for joining us this evening, and welcome and welcome and welcome. We couldn't wait to get back with you. We weren't with you last week, so it's going to be a great evening this evening.
Yes. I appreciate each and every one of y'all joining us. Wait a minute. I think I got some greens in my teeth. That's why I keep sucking my teeth. Sorry about that, but we're live. And we love to come and inspire and motivate you to make healthy choices, like Dr. Will was saying, to create that healthy life that you are so worthy of having. So if it is your first time joining us and you're interested and just want some support and inspiration and education and motivation on just how to live this healthy lifestyle, then you're in the right place.
Yes, you are.
Thank you for joining us. We're Will and Faith. We Get to the Root Health and Wellness. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's connect. Let's get healthy and fit together.
Absolutely.
Why? Because our health is our wealth.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So we appreciate you joining us.
Yes,
And
we
Wednesdays, we love to come live and do these healthy talks. Saturdays, we have fun in-home workouts. And often we come and share healthy, tasty, whole food, plant-based recipes. So if that interests you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So thank you for joining us again. Now, we always love to say hey to some of our Get to the Root family
we do.
that come and join us every week. So we're going to go ahead and give a few shout outs to a few of our peeps that's already chiming in with us. Awesome. And we have Miss Tiffany. Hey, Miss Tiffany, all the way from Dallas, Texas. We appreciate you joining us.
Good to see you.
And if you're joining us, go ahead on and drop a line below. Let us know where you're joining us from. Also, throughout the Dr. Will's presentation tonight, if you have any questions, drop them in the text box below so we can reply to your questions the best we can.
That's right.
I love these talks because it helps give me clarity on just how to live healthily, right?
Yes.
And tonight, Dr. Will, is going to be having a very good discussion to encourage you and let you know that it's not your fault. So I'm not going to take over his presentation.
That's all right, Queen.
But it is not your fault with the struggle. All right. The struggle is real.
It's very real.
But guess what? The struggle is worth it.
That's right.
All right. You are worth, again, living that healthy and having a healthy, vibrant life. Okay.
That's
so
right.
Dr. Will, go ahead and tell us what you have for us tonight.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. You know, it gives me great pleasure to come, and me and Queen both give us great pleasure to come just to share information with you, because I truly believe that once you begin to understand why we do the things we do, we can better put together a solution of how we can overcome certain triggers and certain situations when things are not going particularly the way we want them to go. Another thing is that we all sit back and we do different things to hopefully live a better lifestyle. And maybe that's not working for you and you think it's your fault. You think it's something that you're doing. Why is this always happening to me? So we're coming tonight to share with you something about eating habit. And this presentation, I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to actually let you off the hook, if you will. Okay. And for you to feel the way you are feeling, to let you know that you are not different. Okay. And we all get this feeling. We all go through this same mechanisms that we're going to discuss this evening. Okay. So get ready, buckle up, get your pen and paper. Okay. You may want to take a couple of notes on this one. It's not going to be long though, but you're going to enjoy it. I believe you will definitely enjoy it. So Queen gave me the honors of doing the clicking this evening. So I'm going to see if she's going to help me out. So yeah, thank you, Queen. So this evening's presentation is eating unhealthy food is not your fault. Wow. Because we always think that, hey, it's something that I'm doing, it's something inside of me, and it is. There are certain mechanisms and things that are triggering your thought process, your choice of food and choice of what you would like to taste. And this is very complex, okay? But we're trying to break it down as simple as we can so that you can understand a couple of aspects of why eating and craving and wanting unhealthy food is really not your fault. There are certain things that are going on in your system that we're going to help you to become aware of this evening to help you to hopefully combat that. And at the end of the presentation, we're going to go over maybe one or two specific things that we can do to help us overcome what happens in these different mechanisms, okay? So we're going to go on and click through here, and we go with our agenda real quick. And let me see. There we are. Okay, so here we are. Our agenda this evening. First thing we're going to do is we're going to say who's at fault and who's to blame. That's going to be a good one. And the second one is going to be an internal eating mechanisms. And there are two specific mechanisms. One of them is called the homeostatic, and the other one's called the hedonic systems. And both of these systems are internal systems that actually govern what we eat and what we want to eat. Okay, so we're going to go over that. So first of all, let's go to our next slide there, Queen. And we're going to look at who's at fault and who's to blame. And I know that's a very good question, right? Why are we actually eating these things? Why are we eating these unhealthy foods? Is it the food commercials? Is it the advertisement? Is it that these food commercials and the advertisement, maybe they're just, you see it on television. So you're like, oh my gosh, you know, it makes you just drool and makes you want to go and you want to have it and you want to eat it and all of that. So maybe that's the reason. Or maybe it's the government. The government is not giving us the information that we need to help deter us from eating unhealthy food. Maybe it's that. Or it could be the food manufacturers. Maybe the food manufacturers are putting these unhealthy ingredients in the foods that makes us want to eat these foods. And that could be a problem. But whatever the reason is, right, who's to blame? We can sit back and we can look at anyone and everyone and anything and blame all of those different agencies and situations and manufacturers and so on and so forth. But to be honest with you, it's really none of their faults, okay? It really isn't. So this evening, we're going to share with you how these things are happening and the reason why you want to eat these types of foods, unhealthy foods, and it is really not your fault. So pat yourself on the back. It is not your fault. So let's go over why it is not your fault. So we're going to go to the next slide, Queen. Mm-hmm. All right. So on the next slide, we're going to talk about this article here, okay? It's coming out of the Health Psychology Review, and it's understanding the eating interventions through evolutionary lenses, okay? And Astrom and Dean and Halston and also Tamayami, they did a research study. They looked at what happens in our bodies when we start eating process, okay? But they had to take it all the way back to our ancestors to find out exactly what was going on. So let's go into the next one. So the two internal mechanisms that governs food consumption and food choice are, and that's the homeostatic or homeostasis and the hedonic system. So both of those systems come into effect every time we consume food, okay? So we're going to talk about the homeostatic system first. We're going to pull that one up, Queen. We look at the homeostatic system. And so homeostasis. First of all, the homeostatic system is a system of balances, okay? This actually helps to keep our system in balance, all right? So what you want to do is you want to think about the balance of our food intake and satisfies of our body energy level. So basically what that means is the homeostatic system, it moderates energy balance by promoting food consumption. So it make you hungry, right? So this is the actual mechanism that turn it on, say, hey, my energy level is low. Wow, I'm hungry. That comes from homeostasis, okay? So the homeostatic system. Now, it also turns off the food consumption or inhibits the food consumption when we are full or when we are not hungry. So this homeostasis mechanism actually guides and governs when we eat and how we eat. As long as we eat, it cuts it on and it cuts it off, okay? So it balances it by promoting food consumption when energy levels reserves are low, and inhibiting food consumption when energy reserves are high. So that's what the homeostatic system does. Now, let's talk a little bit about the hedonic system, because this system here, as you can see, this is the food and it's the internal balance. This actually governs what happens. So the hedonic system. So now let's talk about the hedonic system. This is why we want to consume sugar, energy dense, calorie rich foods. It's the hedonic system. Okay. And that's what happened. It is our pleasure mechanism. All right. Everyone has it. Everyone has this mechanism in them. Okay. So our desire and taste of food drives the hedonic system. Okay. This system is actually known as a survival mechanism. So what we mean by the survival mechanism, remember the article that I was telling you earlier, what they did was they looked back and they found out through way back through our ancestors, years and years and years ago. Okay. This is a survival mechanism because it prevented us from starvation. All right. So the hedonic system would kick in and it would have us to seek very calorie dense foods, foods that were loaded in calories. And it was basically what? Those sugary, high energy dense foods, because we didn't know when we was going to get our next meal. So it is a natural process that goes on in our bodies that said, hey, we want you to, my body's saying this, hey, I want you to seek out, your brain is saying, hey, I want to get the most calorie rich, calorie dense food I can get because it's going to sustain my life, right? So it's a survival mechanism. So that's what happens. Unfortunately, we're not living where our ancestors lived. We're living now in a time and an age of abundance, okay? So even though we are getting calorie dense, calorie rich, high sugary, pleasurable foods, okay, it is right now causing us to overeat. All right. So that's the difference. That's why we're craving so much. That's why we want the high energy dense foods. That's why, because our brains is telling us, hey, if I eat this, I can survive. Basically, your body's like, look, you need to give me something that's going to have some substance. We need to have a whole lot of food. So now, since we have an abundance of these high energy dense, calorie rich, sugary foods, an abundance of it, our system really don't know how to cut it off. So it continues to eat much more than we need to eat. Okay. So that's what the hedonic system does. And one thing I want to share with you about that too. So that hedonic system, it makes us want to have more sugar, more all of that. So it causes us to eat more, right? So you got more calories in, you're going to gain more weight, which leads to chronic illnesses and diseases and so on and so forth. And that's what happens. Okay. So now one thing I want to share with you about that is that now, how do we and how can we use this hedonic system to help us? All right. How can we do that? Because there's no way around it. You're going to go with the energy dense foods. You're going to want to eat the sugary foods. You're going to do these things. You're going to want to eat them all the time because that is what our bodies were designed to do, was to survive. Okay. So one thing about this hedonic system, I want to tell you that when this system activates, it actually, the desire for food is so strong that it overrides our homeostatic system. Okay. So it overrides the balance that we was talking about earlier. And not yet. Okay. Yeah. It overrides the balance of our food and our need for food. And we end up consuming too many calories. Okay. So how do we maintain homeostasis? Okay. This is what we're going to talk about. But there are 5 human tastes. There are 5 different types of taste that we want as humans. Okay. One of them is sweet, savory, or umami, or umami, bitter, sour, and salty. Those are the 5 tastes that we want. Those are the 5 tastes that we seek. Those are the only 5 tastes in the world, the only ones. So how can we use the hedonic system to help us versus causing us to gain weight, causing us to go down that path of chronic illnesses and diseases? So pull up the next slide, Queen. So here we got the question there, right? So how can we prevent the hedonic system from causing us to overindulge in excess calories? Okay, and I'm glad you asked me that. Okay, so how can we benefit from the hedonic system? As you can see, this road here is split between 2 sides, right? You see, you have the standard American diet side to the left as you're looking at the screen, or you have the plant-based side to the right as you're looking at the screen. Okay, so in order to have this system to benefit us, you have to eat more plant-based type foods. Okay. Now, the beautiful part is that, remember it said more energy dense foods and sugary foods. Okay. Well, a lot of the foods that we have that are in the plant-based arena have these attributes. Okay. You have your starches. Okay. You have your potatoes, and then you have like the Japanese sweet potato, which is really sweet. It's going to give you that sweetness that what you're looking for. And then it's going to give you the density and the fiber that you're looking for. So what's going to happen is that we have to shift from eating the calorie-rich standard American diet to more of the plant-based type foods. And you can even satisfy the hedonic system without going overindulgent in calories. Now, that's a very small window, okay, based on where you are. Like I said initially, it's more complex than just turning the light switch on and off. Okay, there are other factors that are geared into here, but I just wanted you to understand what's basically going on between these 2 mechanisms. Your body is constantly trying to balance itself out. Okay, that's what your body is doing. So what happens is when you eat something that's calorie rich or energy dense or sugary or something from the standard American diet, it'll take what it needs to use for energy at that particular time, and it's going to hibernate everything else, or what? Leave it in the fat storage. Okay, so that's what's going to happen basically. So this is a very broad brush of what happens between these 2 systems, but always remember that your body is constantly trying to equilibrate itself. Okay, it's trying to balance through homeostasis, and it's trying to satisfy its survival mechanism through the hedonic system. Okay, so there's no way to get around it. The best way we can do, and trick it if you will, is to eat more foods that are lower in calories, but giving us the satiation that we're seeking for through the hedonic system. Okay. Always remember too, that the hedonic system, once it turns on, hey, it can override the homeostasis. So if you eat something that's way far to the left or into the standard American diet arena, then you are subject to gain a whole lot of excess weight. Okay. So there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. Okay. These are 2 internal mechanisms that have been built in us to help us to survive. Okay. All right. So that's basically what I wanted to bring you this evening.
Another slide?
No, that's it. Okay. Yeah. This is basically what I wanted to bring. I wanted to give you a quick solution too. So like I said, lean more towards plant-based foods, and then you should be able to still satisfy the hedonic system. I know when Queen make us some nice cream with those bananas and all of that. And we have the sweetness in it, and it satisfies me. Okay.
So what you're saying is we have the hedonic system, which seeks pleasure and prevents starvation and all of that.
Yep.
And then we have the homeostasis, which likes balance.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
So these are hardwired, these 2 mechanisms are hardwired in our brain.
Yes.
And it's just there.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it. The problem is our environment
has changed.
So back when we were hunters and gatherers,
right,
this process worked perfectly. Perfect. Because we was eating more natural foods. We didn't have added salt, added sugar. We didn't have flour. We didn't have all these hyper palatable foods in our environment. We thrived on unprocessed, whole plant-based foods.
Very
and every now and again, when we got nuts or something that was energy dense in our environment, we ate it, and
Yes.
our dopamine went off, and our brain said, okay, that's a lot of calories.
That's
Eat
right.
more, eat more, eat more, because we were storing up for the famine,
yes.
right? Well,
yes.
y'all know we living in 2022.
Yes.
We don't have no famine. Everywhere you turn, there's food. Everywhere
right.
you look,
that's right.
there's food.
That's right.
Everywhere you go, there's food.
Yes.
So, and our brains recognize those calorie-rich sources of food.
Yes.
So I agree with Dr. Will. I think the way we can allow that hedonic system to work in our favor is to eat majority plants, because you can get sweet, you can get savory, you
yes.
can get sour, you
yes.
can get bitter, you can get salty, and all plant-based
foods. Yes.
And they don't have to have the excessive amounts of other
Calories.
Chemicals that are added in processed foods, like your salt, your oils, your sugars,
yes.
Your flours,
yes.
right? So leaning more to whole food plant-based.
Correct.
Whole food plant-based foods.
That's correct.
Will help us sort of bring our hedonic system in check. Is that what you're saying?
That's
okay.
Right.
Now that don't mean that also mean your environment at home got to be clean.
Yeah.
Right. And our environment can be wherever we are.
Yes.
Your workplace. Some of us work in workplaces where you have a whole lot of stuff there.
Yes.
So at that point, we have to maybe create our own environment at our desk, or whatever the case may be, with our more healthier selections. But the hedonic system,
yes,
and the
homeostatic.
We're wired. Our brains are wired. Those two systems were evolved in us way back before all of us was even thought about.
That's right.
And it was a survival mechanism.
That's what it is.
Right?
Yes.
So the problem is our environments now, we're not in starvation mode.
No.
We're in the land of plenty,
right.
land of abundance.
That's right.
So that's why a lot of us are more geared towards and drawn towards the more calorie rich, energy dense foods because of that hedonic system. Yes. But I truly believe you can reset your hedonic thermometer.
You can.
If you eat, or if we all eat, more natural, whole plant-based foods, natural sugars, natural salts.
Yes.
Instead of adding, a lot of hyper palatable additives to our food. That's true. I know I have personally, and it's been 7 years for me. I can only speak for myself. It's been 7 years of having been plant-based, and my plant-based lifestyle now looks nothing like it did 7 years ago.
That's correct.
7 years ago, I had to have more of the salt and more of the, processed sugars, because my thermostat, my taste bud, my brain cells, all of that was set to that real high, hyper palatable level. Right. But as I began to learn more and educate more on the benefits of shying away from the highly processed plant-based foods, or I call it vegan foods, right? Adding a lot of oils and the salts and the sugars, and just try not to process our food too much.
Right.
I started eating that type of food more. And now, honestly speaking, I don't really crave any of the highly processed foods.
Right.
If it is highly processed, I'm doing it here at my own house.
Correct.
I hardly ever do I purchase highly processed foods in the store. Right. Why? And that's because I don't know what's in it. I don't know how much salt they put in. I don't know how much oil they put in. I don't know how much added sugars they put in there. But if I process my own food at home, then I know I'm using whole dates, or date syrup. Then I know there's no oils, because I'm using maybe an avocado with the natural oils that are in the avocado, or nuts, the natural oils that are found in the nuts. So now my thermostat, my hedonic thermostat, has been sort of lowered. Okay. And it's a journey. It is a journey. I just want to say that. It's all about, number one, understanding there's nothing wrong with you.
No. Nothing wrong with you.
We're wired, okay, but our brain is still back in the evolution days, okay, and unfortunately, we're living in 2022, where there's food everywhere you turn. It's all on the TV and commercials, and I mean, it's everywhere. So we're being bombarded with all of this calorie rich, and it look good, it look good. But if we can just say, hey, you know what? If I'm gonna eat calorie rich food, it's gonna be my own calorie rich food that I'm gonna make.
That's right.
So I can control what's being put in it. Okay. And if we can just reset that hedonic system, if we can, to more naturally rich foods, you know, your nuts, your seeds, your avocados, making some banana and ice cream, and if you need to, putting a little bit of peanut butter in there if that's what you need, sometimes you can just make it without it and you're satisfied. But just know that it is a journey on this walk called healthy living. And our bodies and our brains are much more smarter than what we think. But I think if you're educated through education and information, you can make better decisions, right? Wiser decisions. Is it easy? No, but it's doable, right? You can do it, right? So I'm grateful for this talk, because the hedonic, before I learned about this, I was like, I thought it was something wrong with me. Am I broke? No, I'm not broke, right? We're not broke. And it's just,
this is how we were designed,
right?
Okay? We were designed to survive, and this is the best way for us to have to survive. Okay,
right.
This is all tied into hormones, ghrelin, and I mean, we can go on and on. I don't want to get too scientific.
Don't get too
scientific.
I don't want to get scientific.
I don't want to get scientific. Because I mean, sometimes we can get caught up into the science of things. Okay,
right?
You hear people all the time. I used to say it myself, man, I got to limit my carbs and all of this and that. Well, major and minor things. Okay, so we want to eliminate that. And now, one thing I want to tell you that all of us, and this is a great point. We've been listening to the summit, Queen and I, and one of the things we learned is that children, when you have children, newborns, even in utero, if you start changing your diet into more of a plant-based or more of a whole food type diet, is better for even children. Okay, it's better for children also when they're earlier in their years to transition them over. And the reason I'm saying this is because once you've had a taste of something, your brain can't forget it. Okay, so you have to be aware to know. Don't think that you can override it, because believe me, it is so strong. The desires are so strong that it will override your homeostasis or homeostatic system, like I was saying earlier. So once you've tasted something, your brain always remembers it. Okay, so you have to build up a fortress to combat that. And how would you do that? And you do that by eating foods, and more plant-based foods, if you will, eating more plant-based foods that will satisfy those 5 tastes that we was talking about earlier. Okay. So if you want something sweet, you eat the yam. Okay. And even sweeter, Japanese sweet potato, because it's more dense and things like that. So that's what we're talking about. Okay. You're never going to be able to get rid of the hedonic system. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be triggering at you. What you have to do is feed it something, just like if you was lifting weights. Okay. Your body don't know that you're lifting barbells. All it knows is that it's lifting some type of resistance. Okay. So your body is the same way. Your mind, if you eat a Japanese sweet potato, your body's like, man, that's sweet. Bam. And that's all it cares about. It don't have to be high processed sugar. Okay. It just knows it's eating something sweet. Right. Okay. So we have to shift it. Just shift what we're doing, shift how we're eating, and it'll happen for you. So
yes, we have some comments coming in. Let's see. Tiffany, it's amazing how our taste buds can transform.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
Yes.
I always say that your body craves what you feed it most.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
And it can only relate sweet to what you feed it for sweet.
Yes.
Right? So if all your body knows is high processed, something out of a box, something with a label on it with 20 ingredients.
Yes.
Okay. Say, make a conscious decision. You know what? I'm going to shift my taste buds to recognize now natural sweetness.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Fruit. bananas, berries, apples, dates. Now, if you want something sweet,
you eat a date. You couldn't eat it all.
You couldn't eat a medjool date. Yeah. They are so sweet. Yeah. It's almost nauseating for me. Yeah. Now that's sweetness.
It's very sweet.
And that's the sweetness that the food industry with all the processed sugars and everything are trying to mimic.
Emulate.
They're trying to emulate natural sweetness. Right. It's just unfortunate that the processed sugars and everything, they know it messes with our food addiction. Like it makes our dopamine just go off the chart. Like, oh my God, you know, right? And so it becomes more of an addictive substance instead of nourishments for our body. So yes, you're right, Miss Tiffany. Our taste buds can change,
absolutely,
for the good or for the bad, right? It just it depends on what we feed it most. Now, even if I eat something, you know, let's say somebody makes something or whatever, and it has a processed sugar in it,
you can taste
it's like a huge difference. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so sweet. Right. And so that's because my thermostat, I have, through my journey of healthy living, I have lowered it down to more natural sweetness.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Dates, fruits, berries, strawberries, whatever. So I have just chosen to set my thermostat down to natural sweetness. So when I do get something that's like hyper palatable, my taste buds recognize, and it's like, wow. And at that point, it's up to me to say, well, you know what? No, thank you. I won't have any, because I don't want to chase. I don't want, because your brain don't forget. Will said, it does not forget. And I don't want to find myself in the pleasure trap, at least not at that level. Fighting, trying to chase that rabbit, because you'll never catch it. Okay, you'll never catch it. At least if I eat a date or some fruit or berries or whatever, the fiber is intact, right? It fills me up. I can't overeat on it, okay, because of the fiber and the water that's in that fruit that all work together to help me eat just enough what I need to satisfy that sweetness, to have my dopamine going off saying Chad is good, right? And while I'm nourishing my body with the vitamins and the minerals and all that my body needs to thrive. So Miss Tiffany, thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. I think I saw Misty Blue. She said, can we talk about cravings?
Sure. Yeah, sure we can, Misty. Let's talk about cravings. That's a natural mechanism as well. Okay, when your body craves, and it's two sides to that. Okay, you can crave things just based on a remembrance from your brain. Okay, and then you can crave things based on what your body requires or what your body is seeking or what your body needs. Okay, we actually experience that being plant-based, whole food, plant-based. Sometimes I said, man, I got a taste for a potato. A sweet potato. I mean, I can have a craving for a sweet potato, just like I used to have a craving for chocolate candy. Okay. Now I'm not putting them on the same scale as far as category. However, I'm talking about craving. Okay. And the thing is that your body is looking at both sides of it. Either you're craving it because it's something that you need in your body, something molecular that you need in your cells, or you're craving it from a remembrance or a trigger. Okay. And you may have seen something on the television, or you may have walked through a store, or you go into Walmart, you smell a chicken, you're like, oh my gosh, I want some of that chicken, or you smell some cake or whatever those triggers are. Okay. There is no real way to get away from cravings. I think you will always crave something. Okay. But what you can do is you can shift what you crave. Okay. By what? Neuroadapting. So through neuroadaptation, you're going to start craving, like Queen was saying earlier, you're going to start craving healthier foods, right? Because there are also something in your gut that's called a microbiome, and you have good ones and bad ones, right? And whichever one that you feed has dominance over the other. Not saying that one won't go away. However, the more dominant one, if you have the good microbiomes because you eat more whole food, plant-based types foods, would be more dominant, and your cravings will be in that area. However, you still have the bad ones there that's craving the salt, the sugar, and all these other things, artificial salt, sugar, and things like that. They're there. And if you start feeding those, then they're going to be in dominant. You're going to always think about it, and your brain is going to think about it because it never forgets, remember? So that's what I feel about cravings. Okay. So embrace the cravings. You're going to always have them. but you can shift those cravings if you neuroadapt. Okay.
More whole.
Yes.
Plant-based foods.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
yeah, hopefully I answered your question.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to talk more about it, you can say something in the chat.
And I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I think when we crave, it's something like Dr. Will said, our body needs, right? Some type of vitamin or nutrient or something, and we can only relate it to sweet, savory, bitter, sour, those
5 tastes, right?
So if we can learn to, like Dr. Will said, if you start craving, reach for, if it's something sweet, reach for a piece of fruit.
Yeah.
Right. Make a conscious decision.
Right.
Okay. Because it's going to have to be a conscious decision.
Right.
To grab some fruit versus candy.
Yes.
Okay. So you're satisfying your craving while you're nourishing your body.
Exactly.
So no guilt, no guilt indulgence. Okay.
Right.
So Misty, definitely cravings don't go away, but I will say I crave kale now. I crave collards now. But why is my body craving that? Because that's what I feed it most.
Exactly.
Okay. So you will crave what you feed your body most.
That's right.
You can change it either way.
That's right.
So the choice is yours.
That's right.
Healthy or crappy, which one?
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
So whichever one you choose, that's what your body is going to crave. That's what it's going to crave. Right. We have Virginia Martinez in the house. Virginia. Thank you for joining us, Virginia. I love what Ms. Faith said. Applied knowledge, that has helped me. That's so true.
Yes.
Applied knowledge sets us free.
That's right.
Okay.
That's the power.
If you seek truth, it will find you and set you free.
Absolutely.
If you apply it and walk in it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So applied knowledge is power. That is so key. And we can know a whole lot of things, but until we start believing it and applying it and walking in it, will it have effect on our lives? So that's so true. So true. Thank you for joining us, Virginia. Yes, Tiffany, you're right. Yes, it alerts our brain like a drug. That's so true. The salt, the oil, the sugars. I'm talking about highly processed foods. It's like and I don't mean to offend nobody, but it's like crack. It really is. It affects our brains just like drugs do.
Faster.
Yes, from the summit, the real truth about weight loss. One of the doctors said, salt, fat, and sugar reaches our brain cells in 3 seconds.
3 seconds. Yeah.
And I think alcohol, it takes like 15
or something like that. 15
minutes or so or something like that. So the response that it has on our brain is the same as drugs, but it's quicker. And that was according to one of the doctors on the summit. So I was like, OMG.
Yes.
Right. But it's legal because they call it food. They can put food label on it. So that's why the masses don't think there's anything wrong with, eating the processed foods, because we all got to eat, right? We all got to eat. And a little salt ain't hurt nobody. Well, the devil is a lie. It will if you overindulge. Okay. It will if you overindulge. So yes, you're so true. So again, we have Jennifer joining us. Hello, Jennifer, certified nurse practitioner. Welcome. You should have a wealth of knowledge for us. Thank you for the education.
The knowledge is knowledge for that someone somehow I missed during my many years of college.
Yes. Well, you know what? I think we all should be living and learning on a daily basis.
And sharing.
Right?
Jennifer,
living, learning, applying, and sharing. That's what it's all about. So we appreciate you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Scott, all the way from Wisconsin.
Hey, Scott.
Love your recipes. And when my health improves, I look forward to joining you on your workouts. With Scott, you know what? You keep eating more plants.
Absolutely.
Keep drinking more water. Keep moving your body, even in your chair, or to your level of fitness, right? And I guarantee you, after a while, by and by,
you're gonna feel better.
Oh my goodness, you're gonna be up here. You're gonna be up here with me and Will getting it done. But you do you, and you keep doing what you're doing. Okay, you got to get healthy.
Oh yes,
right. If you're doing all the right things, you got to. If you're eating more plants, it's got to happen. All right. If you're moving your body, stressing less, loving more, it's got to happen. You know, it just takes time, right? And not as long as we think, right? It happens quicker than we think. But if the question is are we going to stay committed? Right. And we're going to do more good than we are slip ups. Okay. That's gonna be the question, and that's up to you. But we're proud of you, Scott. We're cheering you on. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you.
I thought I saw Farrah up there earlier. Farrah, I know I saw you up there. I'm gonna have to see if we can find you, Farrah. Thank you for joining us, Farrah. I thank you up there.
Oh, hey, Farrah.
Girl, how you doing, girl?
Thank you for joining us, Ms. Pruitt. We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
For joining
much
us.
love to the family.
So much. Yes. Tell everyone we said hello.
Yes.
All right. We have Jennifer. We spoke with Scott.
Yes.
Jody Rose.
Yes. Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody. Healthy or crappy? Hey, the choice is ours to make.
It is.
Which one are you going to choose?
Which one are you going to choose?
All right.
That's right.
Healthy or crappy? Which one? And they don't equate, honey.
Yes.
Okay. So yes.
You're so welcome. You know, we want to bring things to you that's going to help you. Okay. That's one of the things Queen and I want to do. And that's what we do when we come online for our workouts. That's what we want to do when we come for healthy habits, healthy life, because we want things that you can use, things that you can apply. So yes, we can go scientific if we need to, but why? Okay. If that doesn't help you, so what? We want to break it down. We want to reduce it down, reduction to the ridiculous, break it down so you can understand it and utilize it immediately, you know, to let you know, hey, to give you more strength. Hey, it ain't my fault. Wow. You know, it's not my problem. I mean, I understand now why I want this and want that. So now change what you want by changing your lifestyle, all right, by eating more plants. You know,
most definitely
we love it. We love to come with you and bring you this good stuff.
Most definitely.
You know,
we're gonna say hello to a few more people. Hello, Phil Mary. Thank you for joining us. That's my sister from another mother. We appreciate you joining us, Phil Mary. Just Eat Plants. Hello, all the way from Canada. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you.
Yes.
All of you. All of you for joining us. We're going to share a few more comments here.
So much, you know.
I always learn something with you teaching us. Well, you know what? I'm grateful. I'm grateful. There's no way. I feel like we're all blessed to be a blessing, right? And you can't receive anything with your hands like this. And I also believe that we're all here to help and inspire and to motivate each other. Okay?
Iron sharpens iron. That's why we come to bring this segment this evening to you, because we want you to be stronger, right? So when you feel defeated and you feel like, hey, is something wrong with me, it's kind of hard to bounce back from that. So to let you know, hey, we all dealing with the same thing.
That's right. And Tiffany, I'll take healthy for 500, Alex. Me too, baby, for 1,000. 1,500. Okay. I know, because hey, our health is our wealth. I'm telling you, our health is our wealth.
Absolutely.
So we've been up here about 40 minutes, and we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. And I hope that reduction to the ridiculous. That's right. That's right. So I hope that we gave you some news you can use. Look, the hedonic, do some more research. The hedonic and homeostasis.
That's right.
Wired in your brain. Nothing you can do about it.
Hey, remember that the hedonic system is a pleasure principle.
It's the pleasure principle.
So we get pleasure out of what? Food. A lot of people, oh man, let me get that. And they just want to it's a pleasure principle. Okay. So you can also be pleased eating whole food, plant-based as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's pleasurable.
And it's
honey.
pleasurable.
Let me tell you,
it is.
Let me tell you, let Wilford speak for himself. I eat real good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love my food.
Yes.
Right. But it was a journey.
But it was a journey.
And it took time.
Yeah.
It took me eating plant-based food over and over and over to reprogram my taste buds, my brain, and my body to receive the real food that will nourish our bodies. That's right. That's right.
Hedonism,
Again, we appreciate each and every one of you for joining us. Right? If it's your first time, we appreciate you. If it's your 100th time, we appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Share the good news. Hit the like button.
Yes.
Hit the subscribe button.
Yes.
And next Wednesday, join us again at 8:30.
Yes.
We have Dr. Kim,
yes,
who will be joining us.
Dr. Kim,
I'm sorry. There she is. Dr. Kim will be joining us, and she will be talking about detox, the good, the bad, and the better for our health.
Wow.
Next Wednesday at 8:30, Dr. Kim Shore, a medical doctor, a plant-based doctor, will be, and a lifestyle medicine doctor will be coming, joining us live to talk about detoxing.
Yes.
So we again appreciate you all for joining us, and looking forward to seeing you joining us next Wednesday. But Saturday we'll be live, doing our fun in-home workout. So join us Saturday at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
And again, I'm going to say this again. By day, by profession, I am an accountant. And I'm extremely busy right now. So my blogging has come to a halt.
Screeching.
But hey, y'all hang in there. We get to the root, hang in there with faith. I guarantee you, I have so many recipes I will be sharing with you. So just know that the recipes will be coming. Yes. My whole breakfast bar is just like loaded, full of all these recipes. You guys gonna love it. That I will be sharing with you. So, but I appreciate you all's patience, your kind support, the love. Yes. And everything. So we appreciate you all. You all again for joining us. So on that note, always remember, our health is our wealth.
That's right.
So make healthy choices to develop your healthy habits.
That's right.
That will create that healthy life that you are so worthy of living. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get to the root, of obtaining and sustaining it by eating more plants.
That's right.
Moving our bodies, stressing less, and loving more. We love you all. Until next time, continue to take care of yourself. Please all right. Take care. We love you all. Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.